Several homes in La Jolla is unstable. More on the new plan to build a retaining wall coming up.
Active radar still for today, but will it rain for our all-important weekend? I have the details.
A new bill is introduced that would make it easier for law enforcement to search electronic devices without a search warrant.
After fans could be heard yelling a homophobic slur, new security measures are in place ahead of tomorrow's match.
The next time your water heater breaks, give it a whole new life. The artist who can turn old metal into a masterpiece.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
We begin tonight with efforts to stabilize a stretch of our coastline as the city of San Diego considers an emergency development permit to bolster the bluff under a home in La Jolla. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. The request comes as we've seen heavy rain throughout the week. CBS 8's Alex Cheney joins us live from that home with what a geologist is saying about this project. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening. That's right. I'm just outside the home here in La Jolla. It just extends right out to the bluff here. And there's already a sign warning people about some unstable cliffs and to stay back from this area. So the city of San Diego, the homeowners here are asking them to be able to build. They're going to pay for it themselves to be able to reinforce the bluff.
There are many beautiful ocean view homes in La Jolla, but they come with a price. This house on Calumet Avenue sits on the edge of a bluff that is starting to erode. A local geologist says the home has gotten away with being built on unstable ground for years.
This isn't just Mother Nature hitting an innocent home buyer. Their predecessors basically built the house on top of an unstable foundation, and now a price is being paid.
If approved, the project will install a reinforced concrete wall with tie-back anchors into the face of the existing rocks. This is the same bluff stabilization method used in other cliffside areas of San Diego.
When you go along the beach cliffs here from Bird Rock, Del Mar, Solana Beach, Encinitas, Carlsbad. There's quite a number of places where these types of concrete walls make a stronger foundation.
Just last year, another home on Calumet Avenue had a similar reinforcement project. Abbott says there may be more cliff repairs in the future.
There is a natural tendency for people to push their houses as close to the cliff as possible, make the view of the ocean that much better. You always wish we'd have larger setbacks. Don't get that close. No cliff is stable forever kind of thing.
I made several attempts to speak with the homeowner today, but did not hear back. Now, the project still needs to be approved by the city before moving forward. Reporting here live in La Jolla, I'm Alex Cheney, CBS 8.
Thanks, Alex. The remnants of another late winter storm lingered across San Diego County tonight. Chief
Meteorologist Carlene Chavis joins us now for a first look at how much more we can expect heading into the weekend. Carlene.
Yeah, we're not done just yet. And as you can see right behind me, we still have an active radar. So we're still looking at some showers in the forecast and then talking about some light rain. So we're dealing with the third system to move through this week. And what we're seeing stick right now is right there for downtown. You're also seeing some showers along the 15 in North County. You have that for Fallbrook. You also have it for Oceanside. You're seeing it near Ramona. And we're going to continue to see this moving onshore. Even moving onshore, you're seeing that for Coronado. So we're going to continue to hold on to a chance for wet weather in our forecast through tonight. So that is your weather impact. More rain in the forecast, so showers to light rainfall tonight before 11 p.m. Also more snow for our local mountains. We still have that winter weather advisory that's in effect. It goes until 10 p.m. tonight, so that's snow above 4,500 feet. We're going to dry out quite nicely over the weekend, not talking about wet weather in the weekend, but additional accumulations. You're looking about 1/10 of an inch of rainfall for Oceanside, the same for Escondido, maybe 1/4 of an inch for downtown, as well as for El Cajon and Poway. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up and another chance for some wet weather by next week. Carlo.
Thank you, Carlene. And just a reminder, you can find an extended weather forecast on our free streaming channel, CBS 8 Plus. We have more on total rain, the impact those rains have had on our drought conditions. You can download on your TV and watch for free.
San Diegans are making their voices heard as they rally against cuts to federal agencies by the Trump administration. 2 local protests were held today with people rallying against those reductions to the Departments of Education and Veterans Affairs.
CBS 8's Brian White attended both rallies and has more.
Yes, several protests happening in San Diego today that we are covering for you. The first here at the downtown federal courthouse, where a couple hundred people gathered to protest actions taken by the Trump administration, with a particular focus today on public education.
Stop hurting workers and our students and our kids in this country.
This week, plans were announced to lay off 1,300 employees from the federal education department. That, combined with buyouts and termination of probationary employees, will bring the department's workforce to half of what it was. Now, President Trump has expressed his desire to dismantle the agency entirely and send more authority over students' education and curriculums to the states.
Oh, I'd like it to be closed immediately. Look, the Department of Education's a big con job.
But people here today protesting these cuts, they disagree, many holding signs and wearing red shirts from the CFT union. That's the California Federation of Teachers.
Outrageous, illegal. I can't believe that we haven't risen up before this. This has got to be stopped. We need the Department of Education.
I don't know, but I've been told. I don't know, but I've been told.
And in Balboa Park at the World Beach Center, dozens gathered to protest cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs.
A lot of them are veterans themselves, helping other veterans, and it makes no sense to me.
So what is happening at the VA? Well, the plan is to cut over 80,000 jobs. That's 17%, bringing total staffing numbers to what they were in 2019, just under 400,000 employees. So the question on a lot of people's minds, will health care benefits and services be cut? According to VA Secretary Doug Collins, the answer is no. He says the efforts are focused on downsizing redundant layers of bureaucracy without cutting any benefits. But that does little to reassure some veterans here today.
There's no way you can cut 17% of the workforce at the VA healthcare system and then talk about giving better care. It'll put a load on the other folks that are there.
In Balboa Park, Brian White, CBS 8.
Thank you, Brian. A bill aimed at protecting schools, places of worship, medical facilities, and businesses from violence is gaining traction in the state legislature. It was created in response to an incident involving Shoal Creek Elementary in Poway back in 2023, after a man was arrested for sending emails threatening to shoot up the school. Lee Lohr, a Marine combat veteran, is in custody now, but was let out for a short period last year because of what lawmakers are calling a loophole. His original charges did not stick because he only named the school in his threatening emails, not anyone specific, and the email was not sent to the school.
Explaining to a first grader that there's a loophole in the law because he didn't say your name, we can't arrest this person. We cannot prevent this crime.
This new bill would close that loophole and clarify that, yes, you can be charged with a crime for making threats against places like schools and churches. The bill has passed out of the Public Safety Committee, but still has a ways to go before it can become a law. A new bill in Sacramento would make it easier for police officers to search electronic devices without a warrant.
It's sponsored by the San Diego County District Attorney's Office and San Diego Assemblyman David Alvarez. As CBS 8's David Goffredson reports, AB 358 is much different now than it was when it was first introduced in January.
We cannot allow technology, which has been very good for society, to be used for bad things.
The state assembly bill originally introduced by David Alvarez would have allowed police officers to search a cell phone without a warrant if the phone was found on a deceased person. But now that's been eliminated from the bill.
There were concerns about potential constitutionality matters with that.
Earlier this week, AB 358 was amended in a Public Safety Committee meeting in Sacramento and then passed. Now the bill only applies to surveillance cameras and tracking devices planted in cars or bathrooms or other private areas.
These are things like air tags, GPS trackers, small hidden cameras that are being misused to intimidate, control, and manipulate victims.
The bill would allow officers to search those hidden electric devices without a warrant. District Attorney Summer Steffen's office sponsored the bill.
Investigations have been impacted by the delay to get a search warrant.
Steffen says the delay can allow criminals to remotely destroy video evidence in the camera or data in the tracking device.
If somebody's been monitoring, which is what these devices are, then they are tipped off when that happens and can erase. And also for some devices, when they power down and you lose the information on them as well.
Privacy advocates like ACLU attorney Jake Snow opposed the bill. He testified against it in Sacramento.
In the Riley case, the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court mentioned an instance where law enforcement was able to get a warrant in only 15 minutes.
Snow says the law would allow officers to search electronic devices based solely on reports from the public.
So if somebody goes to the police and says, here's a device, cell phone, laptop, tablet, they can just say, I think this is being used to track me. And if they say that, then it's possible for the police to search that device without getting a warrant.
This bill still has to go through a couple committees. It has to pass the Assembly and the State Senate. If the governor signs the law, it would go into effect in January of next year. David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Thanks, David. A State Farm request for an emergency rate hike gets tentative approval.
What still needs to happen before it gets final approval still ahead. Plus, where California stands on transgender athletes in girls' sports as funding threats grow.
And later, we'll have more on new security measures announced by San Diego FC ahead of their next home game. And what fans are saying about those measures, that's still ahead.